Guys, let's start. Yeah. So let's start. I'll start by answering some questions which were asked in the previous session. Just give me a second. I'll switch on the recording as well as my screen share. So I believe this question was asked by Rohan. So let me just switch on my screen share.
Recording in progress.
Okay, this is on. Cool. Screen share. Cool. So let me just answer. So there was um, two questions which were asked in previous session. I'll say what Rohan asked me, and this will also mark the end of the uh, sessions on AI. So first we learned about the architecture. Second, we learned about prompt engineering, which can be used in our day-to-day life as well as in products that we build. The third part was towards RAG, that sometimes your model's output is not that accurate, or you can get better output, right? So prompt engineering being one of them. Second was RAG. And the fourth session would be towards understanding. You must have heard these buzzwords, right? What is an AI agent, AI workflow, multi-agent, etc. Right? So the idea is to understand these terms, right? So this will mark the end of the AI journey that we have been doing from the past week. So let's dive into it. First, I'll just answer what questions Rohan asked. So Rohan asked me that isn't feature engineering. There is a concept called as feature engineering in machine learning is same as fine tuning, right? So the answer to that, Rohan, is no. The reasoning there is, let me tell you to a sheet's example. So we'll go through a previous example which we did, the house prices and square feet, right? So you have an equation y and you have an equation mx plus. Actually, this equation looks like this in reality, right? So I'll just explain what feature engineering also means. I won't go deeper into it, but y is basically your house price, and one feature, let's say x1, can be square foot, right? X2 can be location, right? So these are some of the features. Now, feature engineering means is that you either transform this variable into some different type of variable. For example, you will consider log of square feet instead of just square feet, or you would combine multiple features together, right? So if you had some features, let's say bedrooms and bathrooms, so x3 is bedrooms, x4 is bathrooms, you can combine both of those and tell that can come up with a single feature, which is x3 plus x4. So there will be a single feature. So that will be total rooms, for example, right? Um, the fine tuning is different. In fine tuning, when you fine tune, you sort of train your model, right? And when we say we train our model, what we mean is that we change the weights of w1 and w2. So if earlier it was w1, now it will be w1 dash basis the newer data that we have, right? So thousands of examples that we have given, It will change to W dash, W1 dash, and this will be W2 dash. So the weights will change. This is what is meant by training a model or retraining a model, or what fine tuning will eventually do. It will change W1 and W2 to W1 dash and W2 dash. Right? Hope that clears the doubt, Rohan. Cool. So we'll go ahead uh, for today's session. So today, so I'm going to use the same slides. It's not that uh, a different slide is required for this session, um, at least for this cohort, right? All the cohorts sort of are using the same slide. Um, what is agents and workflow, right? So we'll try to understand this today. So even though, of course, LLMs are good or sort of impressive, in my opinion, they are basically a smart brain, right? Which sort of just talks. It doesn't do a lot of things. So there are a lot of challenges that I've written here, but the idea is that they don't perform essentially the complete action that you want to do. For example, you want to buy a flight ticket, right? So you want, if you ask the LLM, it will give you step one, step two, step three, etc. But what you want is you want an outcome. You want the system to act completely on its own and do the job for you, right? And that is where AI agents come into play. The purpose of a normal LLM is to basically know and respond. So you can imagine it's a smart person in a library or something. You ask and you get an output, right? Whereas the objective of the agent is to accomplish a task. That is the main objective. See, the objective would be to accomplish a task and a goal, sort of, right? So, for example, if you want to, you might want to book a flight, right? So you can tell the agent that you want to book a flight on this date, and it will complete the loop and book a flight for you at the end of the day. So it will complete all the tasks that you want to do and provide an output, right? Whereas in LLM, uh, that is not the case. When you run a prompt, you get a specific sort of output, and that is just an information that you have got, right? It is not that it has completed the complete workflow, completed the task, etc., right? And of course, if you have used Claude, or if you have used different, if you have paid versions of other apps, you would get an option for connectors, basically. So connectors is basically you can connect different tools so that you can reach your specific outcome. So I'll just explain that through an example when we do hands-on in some time. But yeah, so the main difference, right? In one word, if I have to say, AI agent basically acts and tries to achieve an outcome. So the output is basically an outcome, right? Whereas our normal LLM would provide you some sort of content, right, over whatever question that you have asked. Now, that is the simple problem with LLM. They are smart, but you want to, at the end of the day, get the job done, right? So, this is what is going to be. We are trying to understand how an AI agent works, what things are required for AI agent, what is its brain, what are the tools, what memory the AI agent requires it. And we are going to sort of build this setup in one of the tools, which I'll explain. It is N8N, and we'll use that, we'll build that workflow. And if anyone of you has WhatsApp business account, you can of course use that as well, and it will be like a complete integrated pipeline. If you don't have that, is also fine. I don't have it, so it will be workflow till like the second last step. But you can integrate any tools like it's WhatsApp, Telegram, etc. It doesn't really matter. Right. So will the end goal will be that to understand the complete workflow. Now, the AI agent, right? The AI agent, of course, it doesn't not only understands what, but it also understands why. It sort of reasons things. It adapts basis what action it wants to take, right? So, for example, I'll just explain that in a minute. And of course, it is equipped with a lot of tools: Google Sheets, WhatsApp, different sort of APIs, etc. Right? And it can collaborate with other people as well, right? Currently, the LLM doesn't sort of collaborate with anyone, but AI agents, if you use, you can sort of collaborate either with other agents or you can collaborate with other humans, right? That is how real products are being developed. So in a company, right, you have someone who is an analyst, you have a designer, you have a QA, you have dev, you have PM, you have a researcher, you have a GTM leader, basically sales. There are a lot of folks who are handling a lot of things, right? So a lot of collaboration is involved. You have a data science team, etc. So a lot of collaboration is involved also there in real life. So yeah, that is the case. So I'll just explain this slide and then we can sort of open up for discussions, right? I've already explained what AI agents is. Is basically you need an outcome at the end of the day. It's not your standard LLM, right? Uh, you have a goal and you take those actions using, of course, with some sort of external tool help, and you get an output. What is workflow or agentic workflow? Now, you can imagine that there is a process, right? If you want to book a flight, the process would be that you search for it, you retrieve the results, you compare the pricing, and then you book the flight, right? That is the process that the workflow has. So, step one, step two, step three, step four, right? Now, the AI agent, right? The difference between this and this is that the AI agent doesn't necessarily need to follow the same steps. So, step one is this, step two is this, step three is this, step four is this. Whereas in the agentic workflow, you have to follow step one, step two, step three, step four. Of course, you can use AI and within those steps, but you have to follow those steps. But the AI agent can reason it that, for example, when you were searching, you got an output and you felt like you need to research it. So the AI agent can research it. It can reason on its own. It doesn't need to follow the stepwise process. It can reason on its own and it can go to step one again and research it. Whereas in the agentic workflow, you have to follow step one, step two, step three, step four. That is the flow. That is, you can use, of course, AI within the steps, but you have to follow the process. A good example would be something which I relate to is while cooking, right? So when you're cooking, uh, it is not necessary that you do things in a same step by step fashion, right? You can put more salt start mein, or you can cook longer, right? It is not like you have to cook for 10 minutes and then you can't cook. You realize that it has not cooked because of some issue with the temperature or the surroundings that you are in, or you're not doing it in microwave, etc. Then you reason it, okay, I need more time to cook, and then you cook again or cook for more time, right? So you don't necessarily follow steps, you reason it and then you follow the steps. So the simple difference is AI agent reasons and receives and basically achieves an outcome. The agentic workflow, you have a step by step process. Within those steps, you can, of course, use an AI, but you have to follow those steps. Multi agent is as simple as it sounds. It is basically multiple AI agents who are sort of working together to achieve an outcome. So I'll discuss about the use cases as well. You can imagine this to be actually a company. In a company, you have someone who is a designer, a developer, a QA lead, a researcher, a sales guy, right? So every agents are there. There are 5 or 6 agents that are there that are doing their job essentially. The job need not be sequential. This is important because यहाँ पे things will be sequential. Once you have given a task, the job can be parallel, right? So multi-agent is sort of a group of agents. AI agent I've explained, and agentic workflow I also have explained. So any doubt regarding what is an AI agent, what is workflow, what is multi-agent? Any doubt regarding that? Feel free to ping in chat. Who will go ahead?
Which will why we need multi-agent?
Hmm, I'll just explain some of the use cases, but those are required for extreme complex tasks, right? So even we don't use that amount of this thing, but you would require if there are complex tasks like you need a subject matter expert for researching in finance tools. The second thing is you would require someone who is smart enough to understand law, legality, etc. Right. So let's say you are building a wealth management company, something of that sort, right? So you need an agent who just specializes in law. You can also have agents. One agent can do a lot of things, but that is a lot of too much dependency on one person, right? So it will be great in general in real life also, right? We have someone who is very good in law. We have someone who is good in uh, searching or scraping data through Bloomberg, etc. Right? So I'll maybe explain through examples. Just give me a second. I'll just explain through more examples through the slides so that it will be clear. So we'll start with the AI agent use case. It's a simple one. So let's say if I want to schedule a meeting with you guys, this is your Google Calendar. I can just ask that, hey, schedule a meeting. This is calendar availability um, for everyone with me, right? So it's a simple, there's one thing that the person has to do and it does it. Or you can plan a 5-day itinerary, right? So you can have a travel itinerary builder, something of this sort. So the AI agent sort of decides here who to include in, let's say, the meeting. If there are conflicts, how to handle the conflicts. It will try to get minimum conflicts, etc. People should accept the invite, right? So when to follow, the agent would decide a lot of things, right? So you have your goal, you decide on the goal, and agent will sort of try to achieve that goal. So it will try to schedule a meeting at the end of the day, right? These are some AI agent use cases. We'll go to the next slide. The agentic workflow is like a step-by-step process. So if you, this is something that we have been doing in our life. When you raise a ticket to the customer support, it goes through a lot of steps, right? So you have to classify the issue, then retrieve the appropriate policy, then you need to draft a response, create a ticket, then after some time a reply is generated, etc. Then if it is not solved by your team, you escalate it with a different team or maybe with a seller that, hey, you returned or gave a wrong product, etc. Right? So it's a step-by-step process. You have to follow it. There is no other way. You can
So
use
in simple way, like we have departments and every department is dealt by some different person. So that's how the agents are working. Then on what basis this is decided that there will be a number of the agent will be participating? Like I have seen multi-agent scenario while we are doing the performance testing for 500 user or thousands. Then we see that it is not taken care by the single agent, and there we have the multi-agent
Mhm.
which are actually triggering the request for that performance testing. So, how we are deciding, or how the AI deciding that there will be multi agent is gonna participate?
Got it. So that is actually decided by the user or you. That how many agents are required, right? And that requirement comes from what things are there that you want to do. So, for example, if you want to do performance marketing, I'm not sure exactly what the process is, but you would need someone who would sort of come up with campaigns, etc. Right? That if you, I'm not sure what exactly it is, but if you buy this, you would get free credits up to this, something of that sort. Then you would need someone who can research that whom should the performance campaign shown to, right? So that is a research agent, right? It is sort of identifying the appropriate cohort essentially. So it depends on the use case, and you try that all your use cases are independent in nature, right? So there is something called as correlation. What I mean by that is, it should not happen that this use case is also answered through this use case. For example, if you want to book a flight, you have to search, right? So you have to search. That is one single use case that it will require one agent. You don't require two agents for searching, right? Searching, of course, can include filtration, but that is one sub part of it. But once you have searched the data, once you have got everything, either you use the same agent to do a different task, or you use a different agent to do a complex task that you have to compare flights across these pricing across these hours, across these dates, etc. The same agent can do it. It's just that it will be sort of a sequential process. While in case of multi-agent, when this thing is done, it can further work on a different. If a different user comes in, it can work on that user's request. While the multi-agent will, the other agent will take care of these two things, right? So you're not slowed down in any way. It is continuous process.
So we have to give this instruction while coding. How
Yes.
many agents are required? Okay, fine.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Just give me a second. I'll... Yeah. Now the multi-agent use cases, these are uh, very complex in nature, but I'll give an example of it, which I am aware of. The one which I'm aware of is about financial services. What happens is, think about it, right? If you want to trade something in general, in so or people who trade a lot, basically, or do high frequency trading, they require data from everyone, right? So they might have different agents. There would be some agent which would be sort of scrapping news from the newspapers, news articles, social media, which includes Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, etc., and understand the market sentiment as well, right? So there will be a news scrapper agent, which whole and sole purpose job would be 24 cross 7 across the world. It will basically scrape all the information. Let's say you are in US, you would require an SEC agent as well, right? What kind of filings are there? Or maybe let's say you are in India, you would want to see what kind of, let's say, IPOs are coming, right? Or what action is SEBI taking, etc. Uh, there would be risk agent. There will be a portfolio manager essentially, which receive inputs from the others and makes the final recommendation. There would be agents which would be tracking what other companies are doing. For example, let's say there is a mutual fund, right? Uh, Parag Parek or some mutual fund, right? Or HDFC mutual fund. Uh, Mutual funds, of course, track what other mutual funds are doing, right? Because if they have some information they can utilize, they have invested in XYZ company. Other mutual funds sometimes follow the same suit. For example, people do follow Warren Buffett, right? They don't use, they figured out that Warren Buffett would give money in long term. Wherever Warren Buffett invests, I'll invest there. That is the simple rule, right? So there are multiple agents. Again, these are only four, but ideally it contains a lot of um, agents, right? The point here is it is complex to manage all the agents. It will be complex. You need to code a lot. These things should talk to each other and so on and so forth, right? So if you're creating everything from scratch, it will be a slightly complex process, but it is used for things which are very difficult in nature. So I just read an article right now. There is a shop which is running completely by AI. So what it's a experimental store. What they are trying to do, you can also search it. What they are trying to do is they listed that they require XYZ folks uh, on LinkedIn. So job listing. It also conducted the interviews. They also sort of got other things in the store, right? In terms of inventory, other things, etc. Right. So a lot of things were done by a set of multiple agents, right? So these are some multiple agent use case. This is something that you might not use in your day-to-day life, but it's good to know. So yeah, I think this is got it. I think that is this table is okay. This is also okay. Got it. So this step one is basically we'll just understand what happens, right? So now what we are going to do is we are going to build something um, on our website. So let me just go there. So what we are going to use today is we can use multiple websites. There are hundreds of things coming today, right? The reason for picking this was a lot of content is available online, so you can pursue these things online as well. I'll write the steps. Give me a second. I'll share the steps to you. But the website name is na10.io, and you would need to click on Get Started for free, and it would sort of start your trial version, right? So I'll share the website. Give me a second. So So website name is anytin.io. Since you would be a new user, you would see sort of a free trial here, but get started for free. Once you click here, get started for free, you need to give your email ID and you need to give certain information. You can log in through your Google account. Certain information regarding the company, etc. You can just fill that in, and we'll start in another 2 minutes, right? So, right, so we'll start another in 2 minutes. So, guys can click on this and get started. Uh, we'll again start the discussion at 2:35. So, fill the information, and you should reach a page where you can just click plus here, workflow, and create in. So, this is the flow. So, we'll wait till this time. You guys can try and do it. So let's start. You guys able to do it? Any issues? Anyone? Can you just ping in chat if you are able to just log in? Even if you are able to get like 80%, that's great. Anuja, Archana, Arjun, Harsh, Manisha, were you able to do it? Prem, okay, got it, got it. Awesome, awesome, cool, right? So today we'll try to create something. Uh, we'll try to give the brain uh, to our agent, etc. So it should be sort of the flow should be something which you would sort of relate to eventually. Um, so cool. So what you guys need to do is for now just pay attention here. Anyway, the recording would be available. What you need to do is click here on the plus, click on the workflow, and if you click on create in personal, you should get this screen, right? So add first step or build with AI. So we are going to go old school. We are going to click on the first step, right? So the idea that today I'm thinking is that we'll have some sort of a chat messaging to our AI agent. We would give some sort of brain to our AI agent, some sort of memory, some sort of tools to our AI agent, right? So the first step would be if you click on this add first step, the right hand side sort of triggers in. So what triggers this workflow? So this is basically how should the workflow start. So let's say I am writing here as chat and you can click this chat. Okay, chat message. Just a second. Where is the option? Cool. So what I did is basically clicked here on the plus icon, chat. In chat, I clicked. Okay, I would need to delete this. I'll start from again. So on new chat, I selected this option. Then the screen was available to me. Now I'm not making any changes here for now. We won't do any changes so that everyone is doing the same thing. We are not going to change anything. We are just going to click cross here, close this dialog box. Once we have done this, we get this thing when chat message received, right? So what does this mean is that there will be an option to you open chat, or you can just put this above so you can see the chat here. I'll just put it slightly more above so that everyone is able to see. But in the left hand side, right, type message or press up. So if I type hi, you can see this message that hi, it's a session ID, it has an input hi. Now, of course, we have not got any response because it is the first step, right? We have not given any brain, we have not given the AI agent any tools, etc. We have just given the capability to receive a text message, right? So you can put any other message like this, hi, hello, etc. And it would sort of give you same sort of response, right? The second step is the important step. If you click on this plus icon, you need to put the AI agent. So you need to select AI agent from the search. And again, we are not going to make any changes so that the input is it's same for everyone. Again, we are just going to click the close box. So the dialog box closes. So how the workflow looks like, you have your chat message or the first trigger. You have your AI agent. We have not given any brain, no memory storage, no tools, etc. to the agent as of now, right? Now we'll start to give brain to the AI agent. Let's say for this discussion, we will give Gemini as the brain, right? So we'll use Gemini API keys for the agent. Now to generate this, what you need to do is, I'll paste this in the chat as well. There's something called as Google AI Studio, right? I'll give that link in a minute. But if you click on the first link, Google AI Studio, click on Get Started, you would get to this page. So I'm just pasting this. here. Uh, for now, just pay attention here so that the workflow is, you understand the workflow, right? So you get this UI, and in the left hand side at the bottom, there is get API key. Now, if you click here, you would get some sort of this UI. And now the idea is that we create an API key. So if you don't see anything here, you can click on create API key, name your API key. So we are, let's say, going to name it NATN 25. So it's basically date and the cohort for me. And we need to select a project since there is no project. So we need to create a project. It's NATN demo. That will be the name of the project, right? And this, basically we have created the project. We'll click on create a key. And the key is here. So we need to copy this, of course, else we would miss it. So we'll copy this to clipboard, the API key. And you can see the API key here as well. It's in it in demo. You can click here as well to copy it, right? Now, the important part, we will sort of give brain to our AI agent, right? So things will start to make sense in like 5 minutes, that what we are trying to achieve here, how the workflow happens, how to create something, sort of an automation workflow, right? In search nodes, the brain that we are going to give is Gemini. So I will search for Gemini. So we see the first option, Google Gemini chat model. I have just typed GEM, Google Gemini chat model. I click it here. Now it gives me these options. Now the important part is you need to set up the credentials, right? So you need to put credentials. You need to give credentials. Now I already gave some credentials. That's why we are not seeing it. But ideally, you would need to create new credential from here, and you would already have this information. So you will just need to paste the API key here and hit save. So the account is set up, account is linked. We can press close here, and we have this bot here. We have the brain here right now. Yeah. So after copying the API key, what you need to do is in tool, right? So there is this plus icon. This is memory, but the model, right? Chat model. So you need to just click on the plus icon and search for Google Gemini chat model, this thing. And once you search for this sort of dialog box should appear. Now we just added an API key, so we are not getting it, but you should get create new credentials. And once you click on create new credentials, this is which is standard. You don't need to change anything here. You just need to paste your API key here, hit save, and press close, right? And then again close it. So it will look like this. So I'll give you time. So just stay with me till this process, right? Now what we have done is we have given a functionality that you can chat. There is an agent now. It has brain, so it can reply. What it means is that if I respond, hi, who are you? This will go here, AI agent, then AI agent will go to this, and then you'll get an output. So I'm Gemini, a large language model trained by Google, right? So we are developing everything from scratch here. So we need brain, we need the tool, we need everything, right? I'll take a pause now, and I want you guys to try this thing out. We have done three things. One is we have added a chat trigger, sort of, first step. Second thing is we have added an AI agent. Third thing is adding a brain, right? Um, can you guys give it a shot at it and reach the same steps? And this is Google AI Studio, and we copied it here. I think we should be able to copy this default project as well. You can directly copy this and paste it there instead of creating a new key. It should work. let others, I think others are yet to try it out. They were listening, so we'll wait for 5-10 minutes. Tarun, I believe you didn't click on the plus icon here. So you need to click on the plus icon. The node is not connected, right? So what you must have done is you must have directly searched for it. You would need to click the plus icon, add the API key, and do it.
Usual, I forgot where I have to add the API keys.
Yeah. Where do you have to get the API key or add the API key?
Add the API keys.
Got it. So the flow is, I'll explain this to Tarun as well. So this is how it would look like. That you click plus here, we add the AI agent. We are not changing anything for now. We click close. The chat model, we click plus. We search for Gemini, Google Chat, Google Gemini chat model. And this is there, right? And this is where you have to add the API key. So you would need to
Credentials.
create, yeah.
Okay.
Since
We
I
have to click on setup credential.
yeah, create new credentials or setup credentials. And once you do that, you should get something like this.
Yes, yes.
And you can paste your API key here
Okay.
and save.
Okay.
And then you can just cross it out so that we are here.
Okay. Can I share my screen just for a sec so that you can see that I have done this properly?
You would have done it properly. You will get an error if you have not done it.
Mm.
Let's maybe I'll just explain the complete flow and maybe then I'll check individually.
Yeah, I can see the same thing like on my screen.
So you can try typing it out, right? You can send a message to Gemini.
Okay.
So that way you guys can validate it. Of course, just send one message because it's a free tier, right? So it has limits how many messages we will have for today's session. If you just send a message, you should ideally get a response. Cool. So let's go further. Towards the end of the session, I will also go through individual doubts if you guys have or issues that you guys encountered, right? So I'll also go through that. So now we have added the brain to our model. We need to add a tool, right? For now, for simplicity, I've kept the tool as Google Sheets since that is something that we are familiar with. It need not be Google Sheet. It can be WhatsApp. It can be anything that you can think of, right? So I've created a dummy data set. What I want you guys to do is I'll share this thing. to you guys, and you guys need to create a copy of it so that it is linked to your own Google account. So I'll just share this. Copy link. You need to duplicate the sheet so that you become the owner, right? So currently I would be the owner. The reason for duplicating is because there are three tabs which are created. It's a dummy data. It's data about customers. It's data about delivery, shipping, tickets being raised, etc. Right. So you just need to click on file here and make a copy and create the complete copy of the sheet. That is what you need to do. Simple. Right. Can you guys comment if you have done it on the chat? Awesome. Awesome. Right. Now the main thing is we have added uh, the brain. We have added the first trigger. Our AI agent requires a tool as well. What we'll do is we'll search for Google Sheets. So you should see something Google Sheets too, right? For now, we are just playing with Google Sheet. You can, in your spare time, work with Google Calendar, set up meetings, what you want to do. It depends on you, right? In terms of exercises. So for now, we'll just pick Google Sheets. And this is the screen that you should see. Uh, in your case, you should get an option here, sign in with Google or sign in through Google or something of that sort, right? Because your account won't be linked. So I'll just explain this here. So just stay on the screen once and then you can try it on your own. So you'll get a sign in option here through Google. Once you sign in, there will be an option for document. Now, either you can choose from list, from URL, or by ID. I am going to choose from list since I have created my own sheet. So this is the sheet. So I would have that option from list. So I can select from NA10. So I have that sheet. And within that uh, sheet, there is a sheet tab which is called as customers. So I'm going back to the workflow and I'll just select, I've selected the document, which is NA10. And from here, again from the list, I'll select one of the tabs. So I'll select customers, right? Once I do this, I get more options. We are not going to select any more options. That is what we are going to do. And we are going to just click on execute step, this orange icon. It basically executes it. Towards the right, you should see the data. Once you have seen the data, you can click cross. And this is how it will look like now. So try it out. Try Google Sheets. So you can try this thing now. You should have made a copy for it to select from the list. You can directly paste URL of your own sheet, not my sheet. My sheet won't work for you because it's linked to my Google account. So you need to select your sheet. Ideally, it will have lots of sheets.
Usual from sheet, which data do we have to choose?
Customers. Is it your own sheet or it's my sheet? If it's my sheet, then it will throw another. Do you have option from sheet, like from list? Uh, and what kind of error? Hmm, right, hmm, it is basically telling you have used a different or a wrong URL. The base URL might be wrong. Uh, okay, give me a minute. Maybe I'll explain this and then we will go through yours. Right? I might need to go through your screen share actually. So I'll just explain this and then we'll go through that.
Ujjwala, I'm also facing a problem. When I'm clicking on execute step, it is showing a pop-up that problem executing workflow. There was a problem executing the workflow, cannot read properties of undefined. Bracket में reading disabled.
Okay, okay. Have you connected your Google account?
Yes.
It's the same Google account as your where you are using Anytin, right? It's not two different email IDs, right?
Could
So
be
it
possible. I think it
can,
could be possible because
yeah, can,
I think I have uploaded the sheet on a different account.
yeah, yeah. Can you just
So,
create in the same account where you are using the Anytin?
all right, if I'll upload it on the same account, how what I have to do here again? I mean, in credential.
No changes in credential. You just need to
Okay.
create the sheet for this account. So just copy this link and paste it in the new email ID. So for example, this is my different email ID. So I'll just go here, paste the link and make a copy. So I'll just come here, make a copy the URL. That should be enough.
Okay.
Uh, Before, I think Manisha, who asked the doubt, was it Tarun? I couldn't understand from the voice actually. Or who was it who asked that they were not able to select the sheet? Yeah, same. Yeah, sure, right? There are no two different email IDs. You're using the same email ID for creation of sheet. Okay. Yeah, I think you have to give might be that edit access because um, it should not be necessary, but I need to check that. I need to confirm it actually. Basically, what we can do is, mm, yeah. So you have not given the sheet actually. You have selected a document. So maybe the URL is this thing, or I will just wait. I'll just explain this concept, right? Yeah. Last time also, because then everyone has a lot of doubt, right? So the flow gets disturbed. So I'll will go through individual issues but I'll just explain this thing. So guys, will move forward in the interest of time. So we have our sheet here. You can right click on it and rename it. So for example, I rename it customers, and this is one tab, right? Of course, I can have tickets, I can have description, I can have a lot more things. So I can drag and drop it here. So now if I go to the chat and if I ask how many uh, customers are there, so there is some error in the workflow. Try again. Have I exhausted my Gemini quota? It might be the case. I would have exhausted my Gemini quota. Gemini. Ideally, you should get the number of customers. So, okay, this is working now. So it executed the workflow completely. You can see the message went through the agent. Then the memory, the brain is also here. You have it access the customer sheet. That's why it's a tick here. And then it gave the number of records that are there, right? So there are 5 customers in the records, which is right. So if I go to the sheet again, there are 5 customers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is right. Now the issue is you can try it yourself, but I'll just tell you that it should have information about the previous state as well, ideally. So I can ask out of these 5 customers how many of them are something something, right? But it doesn't have access to the previous state because it doesn't have memory itself. So you need to give some memory. So you can try asking some questions which was not there in the previous state, and you'll understand that okay, it is not giving the right output. So you need to give something called as memory, which is basically somewhere where it stores whatever information that we have discussed here. You can use simple memory for now, and again you can click close here. So basically you are giving the agent and the brain a memory where all the information, all the discussion has been stored. We have given one of the tools here, right? So you guys can start trying this out. You can ask questions, sort of different sort of questions. You can also create a different tool. Like I'll create quickly for tickets. So from the list, it is N10. From the list, let me pick um, tickets, and I'll just execute this step. So towards the right, I'll see the data. So order not delivered, different request, and there is an empty entry here on row number 27, meaning I have edited something on row number 27. Yeah, there is A written here, right? So anyway, that's fine. That's fine. And we can click cross, and we have another sheet, another tool here. We can again click right click, rename, and rename it as tickets, right? So we have 2 tools right now. So of course, you can have multiple tools. It will be sort of a workflow, and it will get messier as we go ahead, right? So we have just added 2 tools. Ideally, you would have your Google Calendar. You would have multiple aspects. You will have a messaging output tool, etc. Right? So you guys try on your own. I'll till that time try to get queries answered for other people, right? So I'll stop my screen share. You guys try it out. Prem, you can start presenting it, and after others also sort of face same issues, you can ping in the chat and we'll start presenting. So yeah, Prem, go ahead. Others you can work on your own. Yeah. I believe you must have exhausted your Gemini key. This thing is what I feel. How many chats did you had? Only Okay, you need to, yeah. You're on mute, Prem. Okay, so can you click Google Sheets tool? Yeah. So from list, yeah, from click here. Okay, so I'm 100% sure you created the sheet somewhere else. Can you click plus here? Plus towards, can you open Google Sheet in this Chrome tab? Google Sheets. Yeah, click. So can you yeah, can you click on that? Copy the URL. Yeah. From list. No. From list, can you instead of Prem N10, can you paste that thing here by URL? Yeah. And from list, can you click choose? The resource you could not be found. Is it the different Google account you have used to sign up? Can you click up? Yeah. Create new credential for Google Sheets or in N10 itself. Yeah. First credentials. Create new credential. Sign in with Google. Yeah. Select all the options. Your screen is hanged by the way at mine, or I'm not able to see any dialog box. But select all the options. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, can you again click from sheets? The bottom from list in the sheet. Select a tab basically. Yeah. Yeah. So it was the account and press cross. Yeah. So let me give a question to you. Don't add the memory thing right now so that others can also understand. Just give me a second. Let me just quickly see the data so that others also relate. Uh, just a second. Got it. Can you type this question between uh, how many customers have revenue greater than 100 and less than equal to 300? How many customers have revenue between greater than equal to 200 and less than equal to 300? Equal to 200, greater than equal to and less than or equal to 300. Yeah. Can you hit enter? So ideally, we are expecting the answer to, uh, assuming, so it didn't hit the customers tab. So no, don't have the information. Yeah. So yeah, I believe you have exhausted your API key because I saw it, right? A lot more chat. So you get 10 or 12 chats per day from Gemini. it won't work basically. So you need a different, if you have a different Gmail ID, right, you can use that API key and put it here. But uh, can someone else try this thing out? Is it possible?
I'm
Prem, you
getting
can
the
stop.
same pop-up.
Okay, you're also getting the same pop-up.
Yeah.
Ideally, it should not have happened. You have like a lot more requests, but maybe they have changed things.
It's
So
saying service unavailable. Try again later or consider setting this note to retry automatically in the note settings.
okay. I think that's a different error, but I'll just show you guys what I wanted to show, right? So what I wanted to say is that how many customers have revenue greater than equal to 200 and less than equal to 300. I'll just remove simple memory now and I'll hit enter. So it is getting to customers, going here, coming back. So I renamed it. So there are two customers with revenue between 200 and 300 inclusive, Priya Singh and Neha Gupta. Right? I got this information. There is no memory thing here, right? And we will just validate this information by going into customers. That yes, there are two people, Priya Singh and Neha Gupta, right? I want to know their, let's say, email IDs. So I go to the workflow. Can you provide their email address? When I ask this question, right? If hopefully there should not be, yeah. Now this is the issue. The issue is that if you don't have memory, right, it doesn't know which email address I'm talking about. Here we know we are talking about Priya and Neha's email address. It is saying that could you please tell me the name of the person you're referring to? It doesn't have information about the previous thing which has happened, right? So even you need to give something, so, some sort of memory. That what I wanted to explain through an example. So once you're given this memory, right, and you run this chat. So let's say you run this, and after that you run this. Can you provide an email address? You would get the output of Priya's email address and Neha's email address. That is how it should go. Right. So just a second, we'll just wait. Take some time. But yeah. So we got one output. We will go ahead. We got there are two customers. And once I ran this, can you provide their email address? You can see the difference. I'll put this up. We got the two email address. So once we have provided the memory, right, the agent has the information about the previous steps as well. In this case, this and this. If I have not provided it, you can see that it goes back to, okay, what is the name of the person that you're referring to, right? So this is one important aspect which I wanted to explain. What steps are getting executed, you can see it through boxes or sort of things which turn into green. Just a second. Yeah, you can have multiple tools here. That is also possible. You can have Google Calendar. You can have lots and lots of things, right? This was just for explanation perspective. Like I wanted to give you just an explanation how people are doing it right now. So if you want to get your own APIs, you can buy it off. It doesn't make sense, to be honest, to buy it off for learning purposes for now. You can get free API keys from here. I believe the limit is 10 requests per day. I had two accounts, so you don't need to create here. It is overall 10 requests. If I use this API key or this API key, it is only 10 requests. So you need to use your different Gmail ID or different Google account where you can create the API key so you can get more requests in terms of this, right? So we learned how to trigger the flow. We gave some information to the AI agent. We gave brain. We gave the tools that are required so that it processes the information from the tools and provides an output. We have also provided memory so that we know it has context of all the previous things. In general, right, people finally club it with these things. So let's say I can put WhatsApp Business Cloud and I can select WhatsApp messaging. So what essentially happens is No, I don't have a WhatsApp API or this thing. So, but if someone who has, right, uh, they can add a credential here. So you need to set up a credential. The business account has access token and business account ID. I don't have those things right now. But what it does is, uh, whenever you chat, the agent, everything goes, and you can send a message to your own WhatsApp or to your own businesses. So you can imagine this case that uh, uh, you have you are running a shop, right? And people can reply to you online. So someone gives a request, the request is received here, it is processed here, and then you can give the output to the concerned person, right? If the request is to schedule a meeting or something, let's say you are a broker or you're a trader, or you want to have some sort of business meetings, you can have Google Calendar, right? So it depends on the use case, depends on the company that you are in, depends on what kind of tools you require, etc. So I just wanted to give you a brief about how workflow, how AI agent works, right? So the reason for selecting N8N was its resources are also available on the internet. You need to find it out, but a lot of resources are available, so you can try things on your own. So it is sort of a good learning exercise. I'll take a pause right now. You guys at least clear with what we were trying to achieve here. Of course, for your real life use cases, you need to figure those out. It can be that as simple as you guys are messaging each other your workout goals or something of that sort. You can have that, right? So it depends on your real life use cases, what you want to play with, what you want to have. If you want to create a project, if you want to build an AI agent, you can pick up goal and create the complete workflow, right? Uh, yeah. So let me go back to the slides. Yeah. I didn't set anything actually. Let me just go here. I'll delete this and we'll just see here. So this thing, right? Simple memory. So yeah, default is 5. So how many past interaction the model receives as context? So if you see in our use case, we had one interaction, right? Which was stayed in the memory, which is this interaction. So the number of interaction is 5. You can set it up higher. The more high it is, the more sort of tokens the model takes, right? At the end of the day, a lot of information the model needs to store, a lot of information the model needs to take as an input. So the more number of tokens. So even if you use GPT or if you use any sort of LLM, they have context window limit size. Let us, I'm not sure for GPT, is it 1024 if I'm not wrong? We'll just check it out right now. I'm not sure if they increase it 5.4. What is the context? Uh, no, this is advanced API. This is not standard. This is increase actually. I think it is higher than that. Okay, they have increased it. So earlier version had a limit of 8,000 tokens. They now increased it. They made the model better. It has a limit of 32,000 tokens right now. It is not universal, it is not fixed, but it is something which is important because it increases the cost. So if I have a lot of tokens in the output, right, and if I'm using GPT 5.4, for example, 1 million token cost me $15. And ऐसा आ जाता है, मतलब the price comes like this. If you don't have a good prompt or control on good prompt, you hit the prices very fast. So you would see cases like people are burning a lot of money. I think Uber's CEO or Uber CEO that they have exhausted their cloud budget. budget, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, so Uber exhausted its 2026 AI budget. They used Claude. So many tokens were being used, right? What ended up happening is that they exhausted their budget. Whatever $1 million the budget was, it has been exhausted within 3 months' time itself. So, um, yeah, so you need to control the context. That was the point. Cool. Yeah, for now, NA10 considers that. Yes, yes. Ideally, in general, the language will be up to X number of tokens. So you can have 30,000 tokens from the recent conversation. So that will be the language will be common. This interaction is something which I've seen for the first time, to be honest. But in general, the languages, you would have like 1,000 tokens context window. Yeah. So give me a second. I'll just get the charger. Give me 1 minute. Now, context window actually is very important because in terms of financial documents, right, we need to have large context. So for that, they could not use the standard uh, workflows. They had to create a new workflow. So that is very important, essentially. But yeah, you guys have an idea how to go through things, what to do, what not to do. Uh, so I'll just tell you this thing. We didn't sort of gave a system prompt right now, but that is something when I said press cross, right? So you could have given some system prompt or instructions. So what we did is, or the process to build an AI agent is, you have the system prompt, you have the brain, which is the LLM, you have some tools, memory. You would of course do some sort of orchestration. If there are multiple agents, then you need to. There are different messages which are coming, right? So it will be a lot of boxes, a lot of things would be there. You would see them, of course, on the UI, and you would, of course, need to evaluate whatever output you are getting, right? Now this AI evals, right? I won't constrain it just just on agent, but in general, right? Evaluation of outputs of LLM is very, very, very important. The thing is, in today's time, people do generate things, but it is difficult to test it out. That what kind of output we are getting. People assume that whatever we are getting through an LLM is right, which is very wrong. And um, LLM hallucinate. LLM gives an information which is not accurate, which is not up to date. And they sometimes give some information in a very bigger format, which is not compatible with what you have written in the UI, right, in the front end. So the way to evaluate the responses by an LLM. So these are some challenges, but yeah, the way to evaluate is you need to have some sort of data set, right? Once you have created the pipeline, let's say your prompt engineering pipeline, right? Once you have created the pipeline, you should have some of the data set that, hey, this is input, this ideally should be the output. And you would just see what your LLM output is giving, right? In terms of different parameters. It might be safety, correctness, etc., etc. So the first step is you have a fixed data set, or we call popularly as a golden data set. Second is you use humans, SMEs, subject matter experts who test it out. There are some automated rules also that you can use to test. For example, you can if you want to generate questions which are not query based, right? And let's say there is a query based question which is coming, right? You saw that. You can generate a rule that, hey, if you see this thing, left join, inner join on something, flag it as wrong essentially, right? So it's a rule based system, works very fast. You can use that, filter the data, and then test the other data, right? Or you can use, um, or you can, of course, validate after launching it. You launch your product and you evaluate the product um, through users' real feedback, right? How many errors we are getting, how many, uh, what kind of issues we are getting, what users are talking about, what is the App Store review. In App Store, people write this thing is happening, this thing is happening, and so on and so forth, right? So I'm not sure again if you guys remember, uh, a car company implemented this AI chatbot. So people started asking questions regarding coding to the chatbot, and it started answering that. Right? That should not happen. The chatbot should have strict instructions that don't have discussions on coding, right? People were also making deals that can you sell this car to 1 rupee because the company CEO is my friend. So yeah, the chatbot replies, yes, I can sell it for you at 1 rupee. There is a reason why there's always written AI can make mistakes, right? So if you go to GPT or so ChatGPT can make mistakes. Check important info before info, right? I'll show you Claude as well. It's compulsory. Claude is AI and can make mistakes. Please double check responses, right? They are saying that uh, they would make mistake. They would be hallucinating. Even if you go through these articles, right, you will get a lot of information that what they mean, what is happening, right? So these things, right, they at the end of the day are prediction models. We learned in our first lecture. They might give incorrect responses or misleading responses. They are confident about giving responses. They might generate examples on their own, which might be true or not true, right? So always validate this. It takes time to evaluate test outputs. There are some eval tools. There are some tools which check your prompt engineering. So there is a tool called as prompt foo. This tool was acquired by OpenAI right now. It basically helps you test your prompts essentially. So there are a lot of tools which test how good you have written a prompt. But of course, uh, the way you have written a prompt, right, the output also matters. So the same prompt would give output 1 in Gemini and output 2 in ChatGPT, but the output quality of ChatGPT might be lower because the models are different essentially, right? So it depends. The prompt also changes basis the model. So you need to fix on the model. The model fixation is mostly done by the company itself. So we as a company have a work culture of OpenAI plus Claude for coding, and for computer vision tasks or tasks which are related to proctoring, we have Gemini because Gemini is image tool. You must have heard Nano Banana. It is very good in terms of computer vision tasks, right? So there are some things which are mandate, and that's how people sell. So earlier, Google sell like this basically. You can have Gemini, you can have Google Storage, you can use BigQuery. So this is a complete package. You will get all these things, but you have to use my things only. That is how people sell. AWS sells their own cloud services. Microsoft has their Azure cloud services, right? So people sort of do these things and sell it out. So that is the way things happen. And that sort of marks the end of the 4 lectures that we have done. This slide, of course, you will also get it. I believe all the slides have been already shared with you. So now we'll just start for doubts. I'll stop my screen share. If you guys have any doubts regarding any concept across the lecture, I'll try to answer those. I'll just start the poll and you guys can respond to the poll and ask questions if any, right? And then related to the topic. And if you don't have questions related to the topic, you can uh, turn down the recording and discuss other topics. So give me a second. I'll just switch on the poll. I'm not seeing the poll. Lol. Cool. I have to give a case study on prompt engineering as well. So I'll just give it right now. So let me give the case study, right? So the case study is basically you are creating an interview platform for preparation for business analyst and data analyst, right? And the interview platform would have multiple things, right? You need to decide what things. Uh, and there is a tool called as Lovable. Lovable creates websites from scratch for you. Now, the idea here is that you play with your prompt, you get some output, you check it out, what kind of response you have got. Do you want the text box or not? Do you want the user to give feedback or not? So you can just, of course, the mandate is you have to don't make any change to the code, just make changes through words, through prompt. So use Lovable. I'll just message that in the chat as well. Lovable. It's famous. And I'll just write the case study as well. It depends. You can pick any case study. You can pick you want to create a wealth or a health or mental health app, right? So you can have that. So you can create that UI. It would have certain functionalities, and you can discuss it among the group, right? Hey, I have created this. What do you think should be there? Do you think it is usable as a user? Right? Give it to someone in your family. Someone tries and says that, hey, I want to update something daily. There is no option in your UI to create something which is at a daily level. So you write a prompt and you again design the website, right? So you can use Lovable. You can see things in a fashion, right? So you can use that as a case study. So yeah. Cool. I'll stop the recording.
Recording stopped.
If you guys have any doubts, else we'll continue, else we'll drop in 2 minutes, 3:35. Others can drop off if they don't have doubts, that's fine. Okay, guys, cool. You guys can reach out to me on LinkedIn. Can I share the PPT? I think this is something that I have the PDF. I'll share it through the official channel. It will be uploaded in your cohort, right? So I'll make sure that it is done. I'll just message Akansha and she'll just update it. I think the 3 PPTs I created it. That's why I could share it on the fly. They would, of course, do it for you. They would, of course, upload it. Let me just tell her that upload this PPT as well. Right. I'll just share my LinkedIn again in the chat, I think. Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Ron. Thanks, Arun, for the messages. Thank you, everyone. Will mark all the best, all the best for the job preparation. So, bye bye.